So the Pokemon MMO just took a turn, and it's honestly really interesting, because if you look at it, you'll realize that this definitely had a lot of things going for it. It was supposed to be a multi-region remake with Kanto, Johto, Hoenn, Sinnoh, and Kitakami. Now honestly, this would have been fantastic. A perfect region, a perfect way to show Pokemon in its full glory. But honestly, now we just got a leak that shows this game in a new light in a way that you definitely wouldn't have expected. A way that seems a little bit strange. So what's going on, everyone? How's your day going? Let's get straight into this video. Okay, so starting everything off, if we take a look at this post right here from Soul Silver Arc, it seems like Pokemon MMO is going to be something very similar to the BDSP cheapy art style. Now honestly, I don't know how I feel about this. On one hand, the cheapy art style is okay. We can actually see good gameplay, because what really matters is great gameplay and okay visuals in a Pokemon game. But seeing as they're using this, what else could be cheapy? Who knows? So the Pokemon MMO definitely is going to carry a lot of weight on its shoulder to make it really a perfect game. But then if we're looking at this, if they're going to take Pokemon Brilliant and Diamond and Shining Pearl and put it together to make that MMO, how exactly will this look? Will all the Pokemon be like cheapy? Because there was some of them that was supposed to have like new forms and new variants and new Pokemon. And now that we're seeing this might actually be a side project instead of a main project. So kind of how you look at Generation 11 as the main project, Generation 10, that's a main project. Same thing goes with Legends, that's a main project. They might take this and make it a side project like some mobile games or Pokemon Unite or something like that. So instead of getting the full attention of the teams and developers, it's gonna get like half the attention, which arguably is not what this game needs. In fact, if it's going to be a multi-region remake, an MMO with all of the regions from Japan, they definitely would need to put a lot of time and effort inside this game. So honestly, it's definitely looking really interesting like this. I can't quite picture how exactly this would work. What I can picture, however, is the cheapy art style invading Kanto to its not so former glory. I would honestly say that the best art style for Kanto that we have to this point is honestly Pokemon Let's Go. That art style looks so amazing. So imagine that. You had your Pokemon MMO, but instead of taking the cheapy art style, you actually take the Let's Go art style and you make it an actual Pokemon game. That's a way that I potentially could see them work it out, because before this was set to be like a main project, an actual main project that they would take either brand new art style or something similar to Let's Go. And if they do something similar to Let's Go, that would open the doors wide open to so many unique, infinite possibilities. Because if you look at the Let's Go art style, that was just so good. It wasn't cheapy. It wasn't like your character's tiny all of a sudden. It was just a nice, cartoony, beautiful art style that had so many things right. So honestly, when it comes to remaking Kanto in that way, they pretty much already have Kanto done. All they would really need to do is have Johto, have Hoenn, have Sinnoh, but technically if they were also going to use that cheapy art style, Sinnoh would also be done. So, it's kind of like a who knows sort of situation. Of course, this is just a leak, a rumor. It's not necessarily true, so this could be very wrong. It could be, they are going to take the Let's Go art style, or they're going to make something completely different. They're going to take something like Winds and Waves and put it inside of an MMO. That would honestly be cool. And also, we can actually see some brand new Pokemon, some brand new regions, some brand new forms, some brand new things that would add into the spiciness of this brand new Pokemon MMO. So, I wouldn't get your hopes down for this MMO. It seems like it's still happening. It seems like it's still going to be good. And probably Pokemon is going to take this and make it a brand new or main project. This would be probably the greatest thing possible, because, I'm kind of excited for a Pokemon MMO for a long time. For like 10 years, I wanted to actually revisit Johto, and seeing as we haven't revisited Johto yet, you pretty much either have to go out and buy the game for $200, or you got to sail the high seas for that game, seeing it return wouldn't necessarily be the worst thing. If we take a look at it, Pokemon Let's Go Johto was a thing that everyone was like, yeah, this would be amazing. Woohoo, we need Pokemon Let's Go Johto. This would bring so much to the formula, so much to the series. If they make Pokemon Let's Go art style in this, wouldn't necessarily be the worst thing with actual battling. So you walk up to a Pokemon, you battle it, you catch it. Honestly, I never played an MMO before, so I couldn't tell you how they actually work. I mean, maybe if you just leave one in the comments, I might say if I played it, but overall, you walk up to the Pokemon, you battle it, you put it in your team, you walk on over, you keep doing it, trainer, all of a sudden you're at the champion. You probably could pick what region you start at, so if you wanted to, you start at Johto, you play through the entire thing, you beat the leader, you go to the different region, you see some other players, you beat them, and then they eventually become the gym leader. I think that's how an MMO works. But yeah, this would be definitely a really cool idea of a game. Cheapy art style, I don't know. It would be interesting. If the gameplay is good, the cheapy art style isn't actually necessarily a bad thing. It looks okay. The art style looks okay. So, Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl weren't the worst games in the world. I can think of hundreds of games that are worse than Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Maybe that was a little bit over-exaggerated, but you get my point. So, first off, worse than Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl? Let's see here. Pokemon Rangers! That's worse. Okay, for the Switch era, let's see here. I don't know, Pokemon Quest? Maybe? No, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet? Point is, there's still games that are worse. So if they do this, I wouldn't be too upset. Honestly, it's an art style. Who cares? For over 10 years, Pokemon has been looking like this, so, hey, if we get some cool art style that actually makes the game look good instead of look bad. Honestly, I really did enjoy the Pokemon Sword and Shield art style, however. It really brought a lot of things to the table with the vibrancy of the colors and everything associated to that. Besides the trees, I didn't have too much of a problem with how Sword and Shield looked. I kind of wish that Scarlet and Violet kind of went in that direction because the style of art was honestly really nice. And even if they make this MMO, I'm sure they can't screw it up that bad. It's probably going to be great. If they use Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee art style, I'm sure it's going to look fantastic. But overall, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think that Pokemon MMO game is going to be awesome or not so awesome? There's going to be a whole bunch of things missing. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. Consider to hit the subscribe button, maybe the like button. We are almost at 4,000 subscribers. We do a bunch of different Nintendo content, so if it's just Pokemon that you're after, maybe this isn't the best channel for you. But yeah, anyways, thank you so much. Consider to help me out with this beautiful milestone. I hope you have a fantastic day and see you in the next one.